Howdy, everybody, and welcome back to Stranded. I really hope I'm going to tighten this the right way. If I don't tighten this the right way, then the mic's gonna fall over. I can't tell if I'm tight. I think I tightened it, baby. Howdy, everybody, and welcome back to Stranded Deep in Conversation. And yes, I'm keeping that in, because why the hell not? We're here to conversate, and I'm here to tell you that I just messed with my mic, and now it is much better. Well, I say much better. I mean, it's tighter. It's not much better. But it's tighter, so that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. So, hope you're all doing well. Today, I have some stuff to talk about. And let me tell you, none of it has substance. But I still have it. I still want to talk about it. So I'm gonna fucking talk about it, alright? How about you just stop being rude and you just use your listening ears? I know that none of you are being rude, and thank you. But to those who were trying to be, get out of here. So, mostly because today is a fun day where I get to talk about this week in retail, first and foremost. So again, very similar to last week, not a whole lot of crazy things happened, but the thing is, certain things happened that made up for the fact that like half of the week didn't have anything. I have 3 days on, again. I have Sunday, Monday, and just yesterday, Wednesday, that some crazy shit happened. Well, not crazy, but some interesting things happened at work. And we'll start, I guess, with Sunday, because that's the first thing that happened that week that I felt like I should write down. And that was me and my coworker, we were dicking around. And sometimes we'll like throw like fake punches at each other and shit. And what they decided to do was go to like fake kick me in the face. So like they went up, they like gave a little step back, and they went waboosh, and they kicked like pretty close to my face. And I was like, oh shit, they mean business. I do too. So I took a step back and I went to kick, and I guess they didn't either think I was gonna kick that high, or they just didn't think I was gonna kick at all. But at the same time, they like put their arm up for whatever fucking reason, like right in front of them. So I fucking full force kicked them in the fucking wrist. And I felt so bad. And like it was meant as a joke, but I mean, I don't know how they weren't upset or anything. They laughed it off and they were fine. But Jesus Christ, so I freaked out because I was like, "What? No, I didn't know what to do. I was so upset. I was just upset with myself. I was like, "Well, I'm so sorry." But it was fine. Everything was cool. And then we just kept making jokes at it, and it was good. It was fun. It was just very fucking crazy in the moment. And it's yeah, very, very fun. But they're fine. They didn't break anything. At least I don't think they did. And if they did, well, you know, what is the world but a place to be broken on? But then the next day happened. All right, and this is Monday. Not nearly as intense, but still interesting. I played a little bit of Super Sleuth for one of my coworkers because they needed a picture of something, but they forgot to take a picture, and it was like just like someone brought in some like stuff because they were like appreciative of our store, so they brought in some like whatever's and like a little thank you note, and they wanted me to take a picture of said thank you note and like the little stuff. But the thing is, where it was in a section of our store where I don't normally work in, so I wouldn't be able to just go in there and take a picture. They'd be like, "What are you doing in here? Get out. This is not time for pictures." So what I had to do was sort of sneakily go in there and snap a picture, because if I couldn't, either I do that, or I guess they come in the next day and do it themselves. But they wanted it because they asked me about it. Like, okay, cool, I'll take a picture. And so I'm thinking, like, how am I gonna do this? And like, oh yeah, well, just you know, figure it out. And they're like, I trust you. You got this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll try. And so what ultimately goes up happening is I figured I would just go back there and, you know, just kind of wing it, you know, and just figure it out. And luckily, two things happened at the exact same time that made it perfect for picture-taking opportunity. Now we just got a truck stuff in, which was Monday. and they wanted me to they went through their truck, and they had a bunch of boxes back there, and they wanted me to throw them away. They wanted me to go back there and throw them away because they were busy. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And conveniently, these boxes were placed right next to this little thing of stuff and nice note. And right as I'm picking up a couple of boxes, getting ready to, heave-ho out, and I'm like, okay, they're all still looking, so I can't really take a picture. They're gonna know I'm taking a picture. It's gonna be like, why are you taking pictures? What are you doing taking pictures of this stuff? And obviously I could just say, oh, it's nice, but I mean, I don't know, super sleuth mode it activated. I can't make myself obvious. Right as I pick up a couple boxes, and I'm thinking, there's no way I can do this. From the window, a fucking wasp flies in, and one of my coworkers is like, "Oh shit, there's a wasp!" And then and then they all turn around in a mass panic. They're, "Oh my god, oh my god, there's a wasp! Oh my god, why is he doing it?" And they're all freaking out, which gives me just enough wiggle room to half-assedly take a picture of this fucking assortment of treats and notes that they wanted to take a picture of. And I wasp, I don't care if it's taken care of. I take the boxes. I don't like wasps. I just leave. And I'm like, alright, I got the trash for you guys. See you later. And I send this picture to the said coworker. Like, hey, is this a good picture? And they were, hold on, I want to read what they said. Which was, snap! That's the shizzle. Perfect. Thank you, you rock. Have a super night. So, they liked the picture. It was a very bad picture, but it was very blurry if you try to zoom in at all, because my phone camera sucks balls. Because I didn't get the newest camera I could have gotten. I got like a fucking older phone, like a cheaper phone. I think this thing only cost me like $300, which is all I need from a phone, really. So I'm more than satisfied with it. Not complaining at all. It's a good phone. It works. Yeah, I don't know why people always spend thousands of dollars on a phone, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop talking about. I'm going to stop talking about that and cut into Wednesday, because photo sleuthing done, whatever. It happened. It was fun in the moment, and it might inspire today's topic of conversation. I haven't really thought about it yet. But first, and of course, last night, something had to happen. I was in the office doing closing things, and I'm about to go type on the keyboard when I noticed something on the keyboard, crawling on the keyboard. There was a spider crawling on the keyboard, and it wasn't just like one of those tiny fucking spiders that you're like, is that even a spider, or is there like a little piece of dust moving? Like, no, it was a fucking big spider, like the size of my thumb. Not like the whole length of the thumb, but like the very tip before you, like the first little bendy bit. That was the size of this spider. So and it was weird. It was like a little brown back thing. It was like a chocolate brown. There was like a little. It looked almost green in some light. It was very weird. But there's a spider, and I'm like, oh shit. What do I do? And normally, I say normally, like a year or two ago, I would have swatted that thing to high hell. But also, if we were on a keyboard, it would have probably ruined whatever was going on in our system. And my sister is a very big proponent of just let them outside. And I've since taken up that philosophy. So I've tried before to let things out. Fun fact, one time there was a spider on my wall, and I tried to find a cup and like catch it, but because I spent so much time looking for a cup, by the time I was ready, it just fucking crawled away under something, and then I moved it, and then it just crawled further away, and now I have no idea where it is, but I know it's still in my room, so that's very fun. So this doesn't always work, but what I will say is that this time, I didn't have a cup at all in this office. There was no office cup. We didn't have a coffee maker in there. That was all in the break room. So, and I was like, okay, I'll just leave and go grab one. But I'm like, and then I would lose sight of the spider, and then I'd never be able to fucking work in here. Because as much as I'm like, I'm not strictly terrified of spider. I'm terrified of the thought that a spider could be on me at any moment. So like, if I know there's a spider in the room, I don't know where it is, it freaks me out. If there's a spider in my room and I can see it, I don't really care. But if I see it moving, especially towards me, no, get the fuck out of my face. I want you gone. And this guy was just crawling on the keyboard. He crawled up like the phone wire, and he crawled onto like the telephone. So I was like, oh shit, this is an issue. So, but I know the first step to doing any sort of spider transport is you need a nice big old piece of paper. So like, next thing you're gonna put the cup on it, and then you're gonna lift the paper from the bottom and just send him on his way. So I grabbed the paper and I put it under his feet. He really didn't want to go on it, but eventually he did. And I'm like, great, this is good. Now what do? I literally just threw it and kind of, not like threw it, but I like dropped it and it like floated onto the floor. And I'm like, shit, it's just gonna crawl on the floor. This isn't good. And so what I do is I grab another piece of paper from the room and I put it where he's going, and he crawls on that. And I'm like, okay, I can work with this. And so what ultimately happens over the next like 2 minutes is I open the office door and I bring this piece of paper out, and then as the spider is getting ready to leave that piece of paper, I put another piece of paper in front of it, and then I do it again and again and again. And I'm also on the ground, sliding on my knee, slowly scooting towards the front of the door, so that way I can keep eyes on it at all times. I'm not just like, I'm not like floating in the fucking air, because then it could fall on me at any point. I don't want that. So I'm just slowly dragging it along the floor as I'm walking. Sliding. And my coworker sees me doing this, and she's like, I've assumed you were on a mission. And I wasn't wrong. I told her there was a spider on it, and she looked down, and she's like, that sounds about right. You know, I thought you were doing something, and you sure are. So, keep at it. And I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. And so, I get to the front of the door, and we have like 2 doors. So I get through the first door, no problem, easy peasy. As I'm in the little, like, I don't know what the hell the word is for in between 2 different doors, but there's like a little room in there between 2 different doors. And as I get into that room, he gets off of the paper, and I'm okay, let me transfer you to this one. And then he's just like, no, I don't want to go back inside. And he turns around and tries to leave, and I kept getting on the paper. I try to get him on the paper. He doesn't want to. He goes like towards a different direction, just trying. He doesn't want to go outside. This spider is an inside cat. He does not want to go outside. And I spend like an additional like minute and a half trying to get this fucking spider to get on the paper, or even just look at the outside door. Because for a good second, like before he was trying to get off the paper the first time, he looked at that door for 10 seconds, at least 10 seconds, and just said nope and turned around. He didn't want to go outside. But eventually he got on the paper, and I promptly opened the door and got him outside. He was gone. And I flicked him off the paper. I didn't like fucking full force him. I just kind of like shook him off so he get off. I saw him walking around. He's fine. And hopefully he's still fine. But since he doesn't have any sort of environment out there, probably get eaten by like a bird or something. But you know what? That's the circle of life. I'm happy to take part in it. I don't know what kind of spider it is. I really wanted to take a picture because that sort of stuff always fascinates me. But I didn't. And I can't now because it's gone. It's like that one spider. There was a spider in my room a fair while ago at this point that was on my backpack, and eventually I did catch it in a cup, and I was trying to take pictures of it, but there were such shitty pictures I couldn't actually get a good, like a fucking, like I tried like Google photoing what this spider was, but I couldn't get a good one. Couldn't get a good picture, so I didn't get a good result. Where is that picture? I'm sure I still have it. I don't really get rid of things, but I must have gotten rid of it because I don't see it no more. Maybe I took it on Messenger. Maybe that's why it was so shitty. Because honestly, Messenger photos fucking suck. You never want to have a Messenger photo. You don't take pictures with Messenger. I only understood this recently, so it kind of blows for me. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Where? You know, I don't care to find it anymore. It's been a minute since I've talked about it. And that concludes our This Week in Retail segment. Thank you for tuning in. And from here, I don't really know where I'm going. Oh, I feel like a lot of days I wake up and I'm like, I need to record this. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what to talk about. This is the thing where I have a lot of topics I want to talk about, but they all require effort to at least somewhat plan. And I keep forgetting to plan it, so I'm just kind of left with a hard-on in my face. That doesn't make sense. But nothing I say really makes much sense, so it's fine. So I figure I'll just talk about something. So, Monday, right? this kind of ties in. Sure, this will work. On Monday, I did the whole. I keep forgetting that if I don't touch the mouse after like 15 minutes, it just goes black and it resets everything. So hello everybody, we're back. But yeah, so I did the whole Super Sleuth thing, and that got me thinking how much my life is probably like a cartoon. Because a lot of stupid things happen that are just like, how is that even possible? We're not going to talk about those today, because there's another topic that I was going to talk about that kind of relates to this one, a little bit less, but still efficiently enough that I could make an episode out of it, and that is, I feel like I could be a great detective in that sort of span of life. Because, you know, like, certain jobs kind of prepare you to do certain things, and had I not had that job, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be a little detective man. You know, I could be both now. And I understand this. This job has given me experience to do something else. I've mastered the code of, you know, like, detective work as a retail worker. So, in theory, a retail worker, anyone, could be a detective as well. And that gets me thinking, what are some alternate jobs for other jobs? And they don't have to be anything crazy. Again, this is a very dumb idea, but the one I had initially was, like, if we're all in, like, a war scenario. You know, like everyone's at war. It's going crazy. What could everyone do to make them as useful as possible? Like, I don't need you to be a soldier. I need you to be this, because you're that. So if I was a retail worker, I wouldn't be a soldier. I would be, like, one of those freaking, like, CIA spies. Just walking around, dick out, guns, sunglasses on, just balling, because I'm a detective man. I'm super cool. So, and okay, there is one actually good example that I have, and then from there, I have nothing. We're going off of absolute, just random nothing. A drummer. If you're a drummer, you're just a fucking dude with big hair, but also, you got good rhythm, you got good beat, hopefully you had those good things, because if you do, you would make a great Morse code giver, you know, like one of those people on those little machines. I know Morse code, I could probably just do it in Morse code, but no, that sounds better. You know, like one of those little machines. They could be incredible at that. They would be so good at doing that. I don't know why they... Well, I know why they would, because it's war, baby. It's war times in this universe. So, if you had a drummer, again, you could put them to work, to go get murdered immediately, or you could have them on the sidelines saying, hey, we need you to send decrypted messages over these systems because you are a great drummer. And that's the sort of thing that I want to talk about today. So, like, using your talents and skills in the best way possible during war times. So, I literally couldn't think of another job if you asked me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a random career generator. Because this is something you've been doing for a while. This is what you're good at. So if you're good at it, then you have the most amount of skills. Generator job. A museum curator. Okay, this is interesting. So a museum curator, what do they do? Does it have a little description? No. Okay. So museum curator, they take care of museum. They keep all their parts in check. They make sure that everything is there and accounted for. They could be a stockroom person, or they could be the one in charge of, like, making sure the bombs are all still there, which is a stockroom person. I get it. It's a stockroom person. If you're a museum curator, you're probably going to be a stockroom person. But if you're really good, you'll probably also shining the things in your museum. So they could probably have you working with the bombs, putting the finishing touches on, you know, really giving it some spunk and some shine. So that way when it falls down on some random city, they're like, oh, it's so pretty. What is that? And then they're dead. But at least they think, oh, that looked nice, and I learned something along the way. You can, like, etch a little description about the bomb, like, this bomb is brought to you by the public broadcasting service, and in 1813, one of these was dropped on a town very similar to yours, and no one survived. And like, wow, that's so cool. And then boom, they're gone. You can kind of distract them with the amount of information you have. You could make a great distraction. They're like, hey guys, look at this rock. It's actually a 1973 bourgeoisie sedimentary, and it's really fascinating how. And then you can just go on a rant while your entire army sneaks around this whole other army that you've distracted with this one rock that you think looks cool. I feel like that'd be a pretty good job for them, because as a museum curator, you have to know things. You have to be able to just ramble about shit to keep people there, because otherwise there's no reason for you to be alive. So there we go. Museum curator can either be a distraction, or they could be like a little... I guess distraction's probably the best one, because there's probably other people who could put finishing touches on bombs. Museum curators probably don't need to do that. So distraction. A museum curator would make a perfect distraction. There we go. Computer analysis. That's you do computers. That's not fun. Debt collector. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so so debt collector, obviously the interrogator. There's no way it's about it. Like, you could argue soldier, because they're just like, hey, I'm gonna kill you, but they're not trying to kill you. They're trying to harm you as much as possible to get you to do their bidding. So an interrogator would be a perfect role for them. And they don't just have a baseball bat at their disposal. They'll have some water. They'll have some poisons. They'll have 2 baseball bats, probably. They'll have, like, jumper cables and crazy shit. They'll have the whole 9 yards of torturous hell. Like, you'll have to go through the fiery gauntlet if you have a debt collector as your interrogator. And that's just it. They're also smug. They're smarm. And they're just super nonchalant. They're very poker-faced. They know what they're doing. They just go in with they do the job, and they do the job well. That's it. I feel like there's nothing else to say. So yeah, debt collector would be an incredible interrogator. And then imagine if they actually owed you money. Imagine if the people you're at war with actually owed you money. Dude, he'd be so good. He knows all the tactics. He'd be like, okay, listen here. I'm going to take off your leg. And in return, you're going to give me $33,000. Or sorry, it's a country-wide thing. $33 million. Because I'm crazy. No, I'm not crazy. You're crazy for taking my money. You took our money, and you made bombs, and you dropped them on us. We want that back. We want our money back. Give us our money, and then they chop off your leg. They jumpstart your nipples and all the crazy shit. It's hell. Everything about what they do to you is hell. But it works, because they know the best ways of making people do what they want, especially if it comes to giving money. So there we go. Debt collector would be an incredible interrogator. A meteorologist. So, weather boy. What can a weather boy do? They would be great. They'd be great, not pack mules, but like, what's the thing where you smuggle something in with somebody else, right? Because in my head, the first thing that comes to mind is they are awful at predicting things. So, you know what? Double agent. They'd make a great double. They'd make a great double agent, except the double agent thing was over on our side. So they'd make a great bad double agent for our team, or for their team, because they'd be with us, telling us these things that are gonna. Oh wait, no. Oh no. That'd actually be incredible. It could go both ways. Because, in theory, what you would do as a double agent is you'd go over there and you'd give fake information or bad information so that way they'd lose. A meteorologist would think they're giving good information, but they're actually giving bad information, and they don't even realize. They're like, oh shit, well, hold on, let me just, what about my big machine? Oh, okay, now this is about to happen. You should go there. And then, again, there's a 0% chance that there's a troop waiting for you around this area, and they're putting in a big green screen. But there's like a 33% chance that troops are swarming in from this side. And like, okay, cool, we gotta go down there. And then they go down there, and then there's fucking nothing, and they're being ransacked from the north. Like, oh, shoot. Patterns have changed. They're actually going this way in a very swift motion, and now you only have so much time. Get indoors, stay inside, bring an umbrella if you gotta. Hopefully that umbrella's made out of steel to block the bullets. I feel, a double agent would actually be fantastic. Or like, yeah, because he would obviously be very bad at giving the good information. So you want to send him to the other side and feed them the worst information they can. But the thing is though, and you know it's gonna be good because they think that they're right, but they're not. They're never right. Weather boys ain't right for nothing. That's fucking perfect. Wow. Yeah, wow. Okay. So yeah, meteorologist, great double agent. And the thing is that every time they get it wrong, people still trust them. They're like, everything. Weather's unpredictable. It is what it is. You know what's more unpredictable than weather? People. So they'll be like, you know what, buddy? It's okay. You tried to tell us where they were going, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Hey, what job did you have before this? And then, God forbid, they tell you they were a weather boy. Then they know. If they know what job they had before they were in war, then they'd know exactly who you're dealing with. But on the off chance they don't, then you're good to go. So yeah, it'd be pretty good. What else we got? Bartender. Okay, very friendly guy. So not a drill sergeant. He's a friendly guy. He knows how to mix a good drink. He could be like a poisoner man. He could be like a sting operator. he's like sitting in the room like Chris Hansen. Like, hey, how about we just sit down? Huh? How about we just take a seat? But instead of accusing you of being a pedophile, he accuses you of nothing, and he just has a nice chat and a drink with you. But that drink is laced with poison. I feel like he'd be a pretty good like sting guy, like the man in the room, not the man in the chair, like far away on the computers. He's the man in the room. He's like the actor. He'd make a great like a tense actor for a tense moment. Because he'd just be sitting there, just chatting him up. He knows the best small talk he possibly can, so he can whittle every little drop into you. So you give every little drop of money you have into him. But instead, in the war situation, he'd just be there, and he'd be fighting for his life. Because if he gave up before the poison went in, he'd be shot and killed. So he's really got to work for that poisoning. And what's an easy way to get poison in somebody? Just tell them it's a drink. And then bada bing, bada boom, they chug it before you can even say what's in it. This is great. Bartender, make it fantastic. What do you even call that? Is that a? That's gotta be a thing because like people have made. It's like the Trojan horse. He'd make a great Trojan horse. He brings this 90,000 gallon barrel of booze. And he's like, I bring alcohol. Let's talk, and I'll give me a stool, and I'll pour you some liquor on it. And they bring it into their city, and then suddenly, bam, the booze explodes into 30,000 men all charging at you. I could see that. I could totally see that. So bartender, okay, so he's either a Trojan horse, but it's the same situation. He's the great front. He's a front. He's a front for false prophecies. Not false prophecies, false truths. He's a front for acts of violence that are staged to not be acts of violence. Does that make sense? I'm sure there's a word for it. I can't think of it, and I've done very little to figure that out. Who's next? A heating engineer? Put him on bomb duty. I don't care. Okay, listen, I don't care about the computer jobs. I don't care. There's certain jobs that just automatically transfer into the thing. Like, if you're like a bodyguard, then Buzzinga, you can be like the bodyguard of the president or whatever. If you're a computer boy, you can be computer boy on the thing, on the scene. You like calculate things and stuff that the wartime people gotta do. I don't know anything about any job, by the way, if it's not obvious. So I want like the silly ones, like professor. Professor's not too silly. You can just teach him about things, about war. You could be like the not like drill sergeant, because professors, you gotta be nice. You gotta be cool with people. You gotta be chill. Otherwise, they're gonna hate you. Or you could be the asshole professor that everyone hates, but ultimately does teach the most. So, and it's a tough call. But professor, obviously, I guess could just be brother professor, because you gotta teach people. But let's say it doesn't have like a subject, so I can't, I guess, impose that on it myself. But if I had to guess, a professor, probably science, in which case they can just make bombs and shit or make some chemicals. He'd be like Walter White. There we go, drug dealer. If you're a professor, you can be the wartime drug dealer for all those soldiers. Like, hey, you want some opium? I got you covered, man. Just a couple drops of this, mix it around, crack it, beat it with a hammer. There you go, buddy. You got it. There we go. Professor, drug dealer for the soldiers. Not it's perfectly illegal, but legal in a wartime situation. Okay, I got soldier. I don't know. What can a soldier do in the war? I think maybe he could bake cookies for grandma. I don't know. It could be anything. I don't know what to do about this. But I got soldier, so I guess he could be. No, I'm sticking with my. Is there radiation happening in my room? I could have sworn I heard like a, like those like little gauges that tell you something's radiated. I thought I heard that, but yeah, soldier, the local baker. He could bake things for people because he's seen enough shit. You got to get him off this field because otherwise he's gonna start shooting everybody, including his own team. So keep him off the field, keep him busy. He could be everyone's like local grandma, like a troop grandma. Make knitting sweaters for everybody, baking them cookies when they come home. It's like, oh, Billy didn't make it back. That's a shame. Here, I'll chisel a gravestone in his honor. Yeah, so that's what he can do as a soldier. So if you're at wartime, and you were a soldier, you're grandma now. All right, there we go. Lorry driver. I need to Google what a lorry is. So I see. I'm doing some work here. Lorry driver. A person who drives a truck driver. Okay, so you're a truck driver. I feel like that's pretty straightforward. If you drive trucks, you can obviously drive tanks. If you can't drive a tank, then don't drive a truck. That's what I say. But yeah, cause honestly, I don't know how truck drivers even do that. Like, just a complete side tangent. I don't know how they can. Like, I don't drive, so I can't imagine driving anything. But I can't imagine driving a big thing with a huge, bigger thing attached to the back that swivels on like one axis point. I would hit every child crossing the street. I would. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I don't know how I wouldn't. To be completely honest, I don't know how anyone does avoid the children with those things. But as a truck driver, so obviously that means you have expertise handling very tricky things on the road. So obviously a tank would be the next big step from there. Because, and they also have cargo, but it's actually inside. It's kind of an easier job, honestly, because you don't have like a big old tow thing. Maybe you could be in charge of driving the trucks that have the big bombs on them that they're transporting between cities and stuff. I could see that. He could be the driver of the Trojan horse. There we go. That's a good one. So Trojan horse driver or tank driver. One of those two. A croupier. I need to Google what the fuck a croupier is. Wow, I didn't think I'd find so many jobs that I don't know. A croupier. The person in charge of a gambling table. Ooh. I didn't know that was a name. I just thought it was like almost like a professional gambler or a casino worker. A croupier. If someone came up to you, if you were in like a speed dating situation and you had 2 minutes to talk about yourself, you sit down. You're like, hey, I'm Billy, and I bake boats. What do you do? Oh, who's your name? And then you're like, oh, hey, I'm Harriet, and I'm a croupier. You immediately say next. You don't know what is a croupier. You don't introduce yourself as a croupier. That's just wrong. If you need time to explain what the hell a croupier is. You're gonna go through the whole 2 minutes like, oh, well, actually, I sit at the gambling table, but I'm not a gambler. I'm not a gambler at the gambling table. I'm actually just like I'm the guy in charge of the chips and stuff, and I make people hate me. All right, that's pretty much my whole job. I am the house. I am the house. I am God. In gambling, in Las Vegas, I am God. Ding, and then you switch, and you do it again, over and over. Every 2 minutes, he says the same spiel. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what am I talking? A war. So croupier, again, makes people hate you. He always has. He's pretty much useless. Well, it could be anybody. They're pretty much useless without being able to pull on the strings of the outcomes of things. So they'd be great. Like they'd make a great Emperor Palpatine. Like secretly fueling both sides. Like they'd make a fantastic double crossing leader who conjoins both things or just makes one win. He chooses which side he wants to be as the house, and he makes them win. That's what he'd be good at. So he'd be like the Emperor Palpatine of both sides, and he'd choose which one is the house. And the house could in blackjack terms, they could flop. Or I guess that's more like a poker term. They could flop around, like the house could be over there. But now they're losing, so now the house is over here. We want them to win. They're rooting for the house, and the house is whatever the fuck they want it to be. So they're a great, I wouldn't say leader, but they're good. I guess they would be a good leader, because then that would be their chance to persuade the outcomes of things. They'd be able to swift things around and change them around. I feel like that's good. I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's right. They'd be Emperor Palpatine. A croupier would be Emperor Palpatine. Okay, there's my answer. Traffic warden. Oh my god. You know what a traffic warden would be great to do? High five manager. They always have their hands in the air, ready to just high five all the troops as they go around. They'd be good. You know what they'd be really good at? They could, if we ever go back to trench warfare, we could have both trenches, and then we can have it wouldn't just be two trenches, like one side. It could be like a whole an interstate of trenches, and then there'd be traffic wardens at each intersection being like, all right, you troops are free to go. But then if they ever hold out a thing to stop, that means there's someone there. Start shooting. That'd be great. And obviously no one would shoot at them because they're like a neutral party. They're just there to make sure things go smoothly in the trenches. And then they need to call, if they ever need to call someone to get the bodies out, then they can call someone to get the bodies out. So that way it's smooth running. Imagine if ant farms had a traffic warden. This is so unrelated, but that'd be so cool. That's it. It's so unrelated. I have nothing else to say about it. But yeah, so they'd be good trench navigators for everybody. This isn't just one side. This is everybody. He's the most. He's like the. I'm bad at Star Wars lore. I love Star Wars. I'm bad at it. They're like the Merchant Guild. Is that even from Star Wars? I don't know. But they're good. They're good neutral party that helps both, but also hurts both at the same time. They'd be good trench traffickers because they're traffic wardens. So shadoy. We'll do a few more. Animal breeder. Well, you have to be able to handle the toughest beasts and put them in the most sexual situations. So they'd be good at fucking the president. They could keep the president. They'd be a great Marilyn Monroe. That's what I think. Or Monica Lewinsky. Is that the Bill Clinton one? They make a great Monica Lewinsky. Okay, there we go. Animal breeder. Because if you see animals fuck so much, you're gonna want to start doing it yourself. You're like, oh, how could these animals have better game than me? I have good game. I bet I could fuck the president. And then wartime comes, and you're like, now's my chance. You walk up to the Oval Office, like, sir, it would be my honor to sleep with you. If it means I'm gonna have to shoot things, I won't do it otherwise. But I'll blow you under the desk while you give State of the Union responses over the televisions. I'll do that. Please. It's my life's destiny. I'm tired of seeing rats bone. I want to see me bone the biggest man on the block. How's it about you give me some of that sweet, sweet cheddar, baby? And then you go and then maybe they'll either get there or they'll get shot dead on their face. And then the next animal breeder shows up like, sir, it's my destiny to bone you. Please. Knick-knack, paddywhack, give this dog, who's not old, you're kind of old, but I'm not old, I'll give you, old dog, a bone, if you know what I mean, and then you get shot for an awful pun with very bad setup. So yeah, they'd make a great case for boning the president, and then maybe eventually one of them will actually bone the president, and then they'll keep him happy, they'll keep him on his toes. The radio presenter, oh my god, he'd be great at doing what Robin Williams does in Good Morning Vietnam. Just being a radio presenter. Keeping the troops bit. Okay, Stinky's yelling at my door, so I think we'll do one more, and then that's a good time to close it off for today. So one more, and Oh boy, it couldn't have left me off on a better one. An osteopath. I'm gonna have to look up an osteopath. Alright, what in God's name is an osteopath? Medical specialty, emphasizes physical manipulation of the body's muscle. They'd make a great side companion to the debt collector, right? Because the debt collector is the one pulling the strings. He's the one, hosting the event. And then, you gotta have your goons, otherwise they might maneuver you in a 1v1 if they happen. If, like, one of their buckles gets loose on their hand, they can easily just punch back or something. They can knock you out, and then boom, you got free range. If you need people on the side, and that's what the osteopathy people are for. Because the debt collector wants to do things, they know if they can do things. If they want to shock your lymph nodes, they can tell you if that's a good idea or not. They can tell you how to do it. Okay, Stinky, give me a second. Alright, Stinky, can you, please? So yeah, so that'd be great, just like knowing the pinpoints. Like, he'd tell them what to do, and then they do it, and then the debt collector would just be staring at the guy he's torturing while the osteopaths are out there just shocking people to high hell. And while he's just staring at him, be like, yes, now I will take your toe, and he fucking pliers off your toe. So there we go. I could do this again. I've been. This is one that I've had in the books for a while, that I just thought was really stupid and didn't really feel like doing. But I had no ideas for today, so I figured, fuck it. And Stinky's like, fuck it, let me in. So I'm gonna go, dude. I'm coming. Never mind. You're in, Stinky. Good job, buddy. You made it. You made it. Why are you so sad? Hi. Okay, I'm gonna go. But this was very fun. Thanks for sticking around. Oh, you're wet. Why are you wet? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to this episode of Stranded Deep in Conversation. Stinky, you're disgusting, but I'll pet you in a minute. So I'll see you all next time. We'll talk about something else. Probably something with substance. This one had some good substance, though. I'm pretty happy with this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take care. Bye now, everybody. Bye-bye.